second chance, but this is true romance. Help me up, don't shoot me down. My third second chance, but this is true romance. I've been praying for the rain to fall. Wash me down so I reborn. Open heavens, let it pour. You better love me again. 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 Oh, you better love me again.
Hello and welcome to the Clark Athletic Center here on the campus of UMass Boston for the Beacons Little East Conference home opener. My name is Seth Dorensky. Sorry for the late start. We had quite a few technical difficulties, but we're up and ready just in time. About 50 seconds left on the clock before the introduction of the starters and the national anthem. Really quickly, let's move along in our pregame show, give you some of the big hits. We'll start with the all-time series. It's an interesting one because both teams have dominated at different points. EastCon won each of the first 11 meetings. The Beacons have won 11 of the last 12. The Beacons fell to Eastern Connecticut State back in 2015 in both teams' LEC opener. This is the second conference match for both of these teams. The Beacons defeating Castleton last Friday on the road. EastCon falling to Keene State this past Saturday on the road, both by 3-0 scores. Take a look right now at the statistics, and you're looking at two very strong teams. Eastern Connecticut State, pretty much top 3, in every statistical category. On the other side, the Beacons at 7-2 have been one of the best teams in the Little East. They lead the conference in hitting, kills per set, assists per set, and aces per set. A very strong team, especially from the service line and at the net where they've been good as well. We'll take a look at some of the team leaders for these two sides. A lot of familiar faces. Neither team lost too many players from a year ago when Eastern fell in the semifinals to Keene, and Keene fell in the finals to UMass Boston as they won their 8th Little East Conference title in 9 years. The Beacons, led by Eileen with 129 kills, leads the entire conference. Sarah Doyle, the conference leader in hitting, and Marcel Tiscareño, second in total blocks, leads the conference in solo blocks. Abby Stern, the very talented Little East Conference Rookie of the Year from a season ago, leads her side with 86 kills. Mackenzie Menegia leads the side with 151 assists, and freshman Abby Stern, a very solid 86 digs on the season. Take a look at our player-to-watch matchup, and it's two of the best in the Little East Conference, a pair of players who earned all conference honors a season ago. Eileen is just 11 kills shy of moving into third place all-time in program history, over 1,150 for her career, also close to reaching within 100 of reaching 1,000 digs. Abby Stern, just a sophomore, had a really strong freshman season when she was one of the team leaders in a lot of statistical categories, including kills and digs. This season, she leads the team in kills and kills per set. She's also top 5 in hitting percentage, aces, digs, and has 7 assists as well. Taking a really quick look ahead, we'll take a look at the coaching matchup for this one. The two coaches for their respective sides. First, for Eastern Connecticut State, it's Megan Silver-Drosch. Silver-Drosch is in her 5th season, 2014 LEC Coach of the Year in her first season. On the other side, Michael Houlihan makes his return to the bench for UMass Boston with a stellar record of 107 and 66. Houlihan, of course, missed a couple of weeks, but is back with the Beacons, and the Beacons very happy to have him. We're about to get you the national anthem. It's a little uncomfortable. I'm the only person talking. And now we'll take a quick commercial break before we bring you the rest of the graphics we hope to bring you here during pregame.
Psychology is about understanding the individual and understanding the mind. the main reason why I want to combine psychology and business degrees is because I want to understand the business decisions that are made. I'm Nurçin Çelebi. I'm from Turkey originally. I'm a senior at the 5-year BA to MBA program at UMass Boston. I think in management, the biggest mistake you can make is to not listen. So I want to be able to step into a company and say, here's what you're doing now, and here's how you can improve it. I moved here when I was 16 for high school. Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me. I wanted to be able to improve myself. I wanted to be able to try new things, and I think UMass gave me a really good head start on that.
And welcome back to the Clark for today's Little East Conference matchup. The Beacons 2018 LEC home opener, just their third home match on the season. On the other side, Eastern's only played two. They played 2 matches on September 1st, a tri-match. Since then, 12 of their next 13 will be on the road, including 6 in a row. They've got 2 more before they return home to face Western Connecticut State, and then they add 3 more road matches, so a very difficult road stretch to start the season for Megan Silver-Drosch. The Beacons had a similar situation, but now they are home for a long homestand. The Beacons will be back at home tomorrow, hosting Amherst College at 1 p.m. before hosting 4 more matches at home before they head to California. Really quickly, the starting lineups for these two sides. For Eastern Connecticut State, we'll start with them. It's been a similar group all season long. Carly Balskis, Anna Barry, Abby Stern, Mackenzie Managia, Jackie Orlowski, Alitra Long, and Madison Bell. The libero for UMass Boston, they've pretty much been going with the same group because of the injury to Rachel Maslak, the senior captain, who's still not quite back from an ankle injury. In fact, re-aggravated that on Monday. Should be back sooner rather than later. Carson Comments, Emelia Czapeiwska, Ava Campano, Marcel Tiscareño, Eileen Shee, Sarah Doyle, and Michaela Kianco, who was the LEC Most Outstanding Player of the tournament a year ago. So the Beacons will start with the serve. It's Carson Comments, the sophomore captain out of Ohio. Setter sends it deep, all the way back to the libero, and we've got an illegal touch there on Eastern Connecticut State. The Beacons in the home whites with the black shorts and blue numbers. On the other side, Eastern going with the gunmetal gray unis, an alternate color for Eastern, with the maroon shorts and the white numbers. The dig to the near side, and it's kept alive by Shee. Comments to the back line for Shee, and the Beacons take a 2-0 lead in front of what is a pretty rowdy crowd here at the Clark Athletic Center. Certainly rowdier than we're used to, but the Beacons adding dorms here for 2018, and that has made a difference. Comments with their third consecutive service. This is a short one, picked up by the middle Anna Barry to the far side. Barry tried to send it down, but it's kept alive by Comments. Czapeiwska off the top of the net, and unable to keep it alive is the libero Madison Bell. 3-0 in favor of UMass Boston. These two teams met a season ago back in October. Eastern was red hot, had won 17 consecutive sets. The Beacons easily took the first 2 down at Keisler Gymnasium, trailed 22-20 in set number 3 before scoring the last 5 points of both the set and the match to earn a 3-0 win. Diving effort from Comments keeps it alive. Czapeiwska again. This time it's dug out by the Warriors to the near side. Strong swing by Stern. Comments pops it up for Kianco. Again for Shee. Shee goes deep, and just a bit too deep on that particular occasion. It's 3-1 in favor of the host Beacons. 3-1 UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcast Network and Little East Conference Network, as Kianco wearing the libero jersey with the reception, and the Beacons get the side out they were looking for. Czapeiwska pops that one right into the net, and Orlowski couldn't keep it up on her own side. To the far side, strong swing and just over the hands of Kianco. Anna Barry, who is the one big addition to this Eastern team, the freshman out of Andover, Connecticut. 72 kills, a .308 hitting percentage, both top 2 on the team. She also has 5 solo blocks tied for first on the side and 20 total blocks. So she's been a big addition to a veteran side. On the other side, There's the big freshman for UMass Boston, Marcel Tiscareño, second in the conference in hitting percentage, second in the conference in blocks and solo blocks. The freshman out of El Paso, Texas, has been very good thus far. Kianko on the service, couldn't quite get it over the net as she tried to go short. Another service error for a Beacons team that has struggled with that this season. The Beacons' big emphasis is serve tough, and it's shown. The Beacons have posted double-digit aces 7 times in 9 matches, but they've also posted double-digit service errors 8 times. So, the good with the bat. Czapeiwska for comments, looking for Sarah Doyle just into the match. A great dig from Madison Bell, and the Beacons end up with the point. UMass Boston runs a 6-2, just like Eastern Connecticut State. The Beacons will send in their second setter. It's Elliott for comments, and service specialist Sydney Birch will head back to the service line. Birch got off to a torrid start to the season, 21 aces in her first 4 matches. She slowed down a little bit, but she still leads the Beacons and is in the top 3 in the conference with her 32 aces. A little bit too strong there. The lead is 6-4 in favor of UMass Boston. As we see Jackie Orlowski, the senior out of Woodstock, Connecticut, step to the service line. Led the team in blocks this season ago. Kianko for Elliott, looking for Doyle, and the senior connection finds the back corner where Eastern had no one available. Doyle coming off one of the best matches of her collegiate career. The junior, upperclassman, roommate of Christine Elliott, but still has a year left of eligibility as Eileen sends it into the net. Doyle the other night, 10 kills, hit .615 against Emmanuel College in a 3-1 victory. The Beacons got Michael Houlihan back after a couple weeks absence. A little bit of a health scare, but he is ready to be back with the team. And they were a little bit all over the place in the first set before settling down and defeating the Saints. There's a big block combo from Elliott and Doyle. And the Beacons will get a side out. Ava Campano comes on for Michaela Kianko. And Doyle, the junior out of Glendale, California, will step to the service line. 8-5 in favor of UMass Boston. They led 3-0 early. Eastern hasn't gotten closer than 2. Doyle to the near side. The back set there that just never really worked. It was Karen Sabisky, the graduate student, who missed her senior season with an injury, came back for a 5th year. She couldn't get a good swing on that one after Leah Supneski set the back set, but just a little bit too short for her outside hitter. Doyle, not even close to getting it over. You could see it from her face, upset with herself. And Eastern will get the ball right back as they'll make their 6-2 substitution. Orlowski back on alongside Mackenzie Menegia, the junior out of Andover, Connecticut. Led the team in assists a season ago. Campano out wide, and the Connecticut native comes up with the big kill. Ava was out there working with their teammates after the Beacons finished their warm-ups about 2 hours before the match, and Campano got a couple extra swings in, really trying to work on her play. She's been very good for the Beacons, filling in for Maslak. As Campano comes into today's match with 27 kills, and recently has been hitting pretty well with 5 kills to her past 3. Campano looking for another one, popped up by Orlowski. Near side, it's Stern, but she is there. Comet to the far side behind Campano. The tip, and it's just enough to get over. Near side, once again, it's Stern. Popped up off the block and too far for Kianko. The Beacons lead 10-7 in set number 1. UMass Boston is riding a very long home conference winning streak. The Beacons have not lost here at home against the conference foe in the regular season. Did lose to Western Connecticut State back in 2014. Their lone loss in the last 9 conference tournaments since 2011, October the 25th, when they lost to Plymouth here in 5 sets. The Beacons have won 22 consecutive home conference matches. Looking to keep that going tonight against a team that was picked in the top 3 in the LEC, as Czapeiwska has to wait on that one. Made it a little easier on the Eastern defense. The back set, Orlowski is blocked. Campano with a great pancake, and she will go down line, but too strong. The lead is still 3 for UMass Boston, looking for their 8th win in their first 10 matches of the season. After an up-and-down first season when Mike Houlihan was the lone head coach. Houlihan spent the previous 4 seasons as a co-head coach with longtime Beacons head coach Terry Condon, who will be inducted into the UMass Boston Hall of Fame this October. It's Comets looking for Tiscareño. Knocks it hard off the block. On the far side, it's Orlowski over the block, but Czapeiwska was waiting. Comets to Tiscareño, and the block was there that time. A great job by Carly Belskis and Jackie Orlowski to team up for that one. And the lead is just 2. That's as close as Eastern's been. So we see Madison Bell, the freshman libero from Salem, Connecticut, serve. Czapeiwska for Comets, looking for Campano, but she can't put it down. Over on 2, and Managia plays the Beacons perfectly that time. A huge hole in the middle of the defense. And the Beacons forced to use their first time out of set number 1. It's UMass Boston 11, Eastern 10 here, midway through set number 1, and we'll take a timeout along with the teams here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
$11-10 in favor of UMass Boston. The Beacons forced to call a timeout after back-to-back kills. Let's take a look at that last Eastern block on Tiscareño, who's typically the one picking up the blocks. Tiscareño was the second time she got a swing during this individual point, and this time it was the pair of Warriors right there at the net. A really nice combo by Balskis and Orlowski, and then Managia came over on 2, and it worked perfectly. It'll be Madison Bell, tied for second on the team with their 15 aces. 2-time All-State player out of East Lyme High School. Took over the libero job after Michelle Valeri graduated. That was the only big loss for Eastern. The Beacons' big loss was outside hitter Alex Gibbs, who had one of her best matches of the season last year against Eastern. Finished second behind Doyle with 11 kills in the 3-0 victory. Managia to the near side, and just barely getting that over on an awkward angle was Balskis. Fooled the Beacons defense to cut the deficit back to 1. Eastern will use the side out to make their 6-2 substitution. Karen Czapeiwska comes on along with Leah Supneski. Supneski, a senior out of Deep River, Connecticut, making her 88th career appearance. Diving effort from Comets, too strong for she. And for the first time since we were at 0-0, we've got a tie match. Last week against Keene State, up at Keene State, Eastern had 23 different lead changes in their 3-0 loss. They just couldn't overcome a poor hitting percentage. They hit just .029 of the match, and it was even worse when you look at this statistic. Karen Czapeiwska had 7 kills, hit .308. The rest of the team, 24 kills, 24 attack errors. They finished hitting 0-0-0 as a team. A little bit too strong there on the lefty service from Supneski. And the Beacons retake the lead just like that. Eastern still looking for their first lead of the match. Beacons will bring on Elliott and Birch with Tiscareño and Comets heading to the bench. Birch in her first service run sent a service error right into the net. This time goes deep, easily stays in. The set is actually redirected there. It was miscommunication, but Eastern able to keep it alive, and she right into the net. Tied at 13 now. So 2 consecutive ties. Eastern a chance to take that lead with Orlowski stepping back to the service line. She's in her second season as a captain for this squad, making her 10th total appearance and 5th start. Elliott for Doyle. An awkward swing there as the ball was behind her to the near side, and Stern is blocked down, but on the Beacon side, Eastern has their first lead, 14-13. So after a good start, the Beacons led 3-0 and led by 2 to 3 points for the first 20 points. Eastern has responded and taken a 1-point advantage. Elliott for She, and again, bad communication there. Just couldn't quite time the swing. And the Beacons will use their second timeout in about 4 to 5 points. They're out of timeouts here in the first set. Eastern hasn't used one as the Warriors have their largest lead of the set at 15-13.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Still about 30 seconds left on the timeout. We'll take a look at some of the ways you can follow UMass Boston Volleyball and all of your UMass Boston teams. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. It's all at UMass Beacons. After the match, we'll have a recap, highlights, and potentially some action shots on Instagram as well. But right now, the Beacons need to figure out their chemistry a bit. Setters and hitters have not been working together very well over the last 5 to 10 points. The Beacons will come out with Elliott, Doyle, Birch, She, Kiyanko, and Czapeiwska, a veteran group of all players who have played at least 3 collegiate seasons. And just as I say that, the Beacons are ruled out of rotation on the service. It's something that I've only seen out of UMass Boston 2, maybe 3 times over the past 6 seasons. Michael Houlihan has a quick conversation. It appears it was the location of Czapeiwska in the back corner, and now she moves over as Eastern makes it a 3-point advantage. On the service, handled by Birch. Elliott for Czapeiwska, too strong. And it's 17-13. Eastern's one of the few teams who have defeated the Beacons during the regular season over the past 10 years. The Beacons have been very good here at home. Very good overall in conference play with just 5 losses and 1 postseason defeat. Elliott wisely goes over on 2. She was tight to the net from the back line. Strong swing, and it's going to be off the block, they say. Sopneski was going deep, and that must have caught the fingertips of Doyle. 5-point advantage all of a sudden for Eastern Connecticut State. Beacons have already used their 2 timeouts. It'll be Orlowski. Strong service. Kiyanko handles it. Elliott for Doyle. Again, not quite where it needed to be. To the back line, it is Orlowski, and she pops it into the net as her momentum was taking her backwards. So the Beacons get a vital side out, but they still trail by 4 late here in set number 1. Eileen She, senior out of San Francisco, California, and she sends a bullet about a foot deep. UMass Boston, we saw this against Bowdoin a bit. They go into stretches where they just don't seem as confident as they've looked throughout the season. Beacons have one of their 2 losses here at home. That came against Bowdoin College in a 4-set loss as the teams trade service errors. Should be 19-15. Right now the scoreboard shows it opposite. So Doyle will head to the service line with the Beacons trailing by 4. Doyle gives it right back. Talked about those service errors being a killer. They're even a bigger issue when you're playing poorly. And the Beacons are doing that right now. Over the last 12 to 14 points, I mean, give Eastern credit. They've played well. They've reduced their errors, but the Beacons are making errors left and right. Birch for Elliott. Finds Czapeiwska, looks to go back corner. Easily handled by Bell. Swing right into the net off the right hand of Abby Stern. And that makes it 21-15. It's interesting. I don't think they, and now they change it. It's 2016. So that, it's kind of big when you're down 4 and the opposing team only needs 5, but it's still a pretty big deficit. Comments on the service. Off the chest there of Stern, who let it get in a little bit too tight. And Beacons with back-to-back points to cut the deficit from 5 down to 3. Remember, Megan Silver-Drosch has both of her timeouts, so if the Beacons can mount a little rally, she's got those timeouts to try to stem the momentum. Stern on the swing. She's blocked. Bell is there to keep it alive. Coming from the back line is Orlowski. Comment sends it backwards, and the Beacons are going to be called for a lift as Comments was trying to find Kiyanko, pushed her back, and then Kiyanko couldn't get the ball to Czapeiwska without a little bit of a lift. 4-point deficit. Eastern needing 4 points to win the first set. Comments looking for Czapeiwska, and she has to send it off the antenna. Both of the Beacon setters looked great to start through their first rotation, and they just haven't had it here in the second half of this first set. Way too strong on the service from Eastern. A little bit of a break for UMass Boston as Abby Stern sent it a 1.5 feet deep. See what Emelia Czapeiwska can do here. Czapeiwska, the sophomore out of St. Paul, Minnesota. Beacons outside hitter who's their second top hitter, also one of their better defenders. Kiyanko, a nice dig, but Campano and Comments nearly can't get it over. Great job by She. This is a big point right now as both sides sensing the momentum and the Beacons win it. Campano floated that one between two players, and the deficit again down to 3. Czapeiwska on the season, third on the team with 21 aces, sends it very short, and the over comes on the Beacon side. They're going to say that caught the scoreboard, which, according to today's official, is out of play. Sometimes the officials, before the match, declare that it will be in play and that you can play through it. But on that particular instance, it grazed the side of the scoreboard, and it'll go the Beacon's way. So Eastern, not surprisingly, will use their timeout, and we will stick with it here. The Beacons down by 2 after trailing by as many as 5 in this set. UMass Boston had the play early on, but Eastern went on a big run. And right now, the Beacons huddling up around Michael Holohan, at least the three setters. Rachel Maslak still unavailable, along with Carson Comments and Christina Elliott. UMass Boston is going to take this first set, or even bounce back in this match. It's going to start with their setters, who just have not quite clicked with the hitters today after putting up a really impressive hitting percentage against Emmanuel. The Beacons struggled in the first set, but hit .309 for the match and held Emmanuel to a negative .059 mark in hitting percentage. Czapeiwska on the set. It's a short one, and it'll cause some problems as Eastern goes into the net. All of a sudden, the Beacons with 4 consecutive points to cut the deficit to 1. Czapeiwska doesn't have an ace during this service, but a couple of these have been challenging, and again, Bell forced to dive for it. The swing is blocked off the hands of Adaberry. A second touch. Kiyanko back for Comments, looking for She. Blocked but kept alive by Kiyanko, and it goes off the net. Tiscareño couldn't keep it alive. Even still, as the Warriors get that big side out. It's just a 2-point deficit now. If the Beacons can get a side out right here, get 2 points in a row at any point, they have a chance to extend this set as it's first to 25, win by 2. There's a great ace off the hands of Madison Bell down the line and short. Forced Czapeiwska to dive for it, and she couldn't quite keep it alive. So now Eastern has some breathing room. They just need one of the next 3 points. Bell will look for it right here. Kiyanko, the opposing libero, digs it out. She is blocked. Tipped up by Tiscareño, and the Beacons forced to just pass it across. Managia, the back set, blocked off the hands of Orlowski. Sent across by Balskis. Looking for Tiscareño, and she pops it through the double block there. Beacons get the first kill. Now they'll send Kianko back to the service line. First things first, can't give up a service error here. Beacons down by 2. After having the early momentum, fell behind by 5 late in this set. Handled by Eastern, Bell, and a little bit of miscommunication there. The Beacons fortunate. Comets looking for Doyle through the block, but popped up there by a Warrior. Bell for Balskis, and Kianko is there. Comets looking for Czapeiwska. She tips it, and Bell can't get there. The Beacons need this next point to extend this set, and Eastern will use their second and final time out of the set. It's been a fun one here in set number 1. Eastern leads 24-23, looking to hold on for what would be an upset first set victory.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Eastern Connecticut State was picked 3rd in the Little East Conference. They've already lost the team picked 2nd in straight sets. That was Keene State College this past Saturday. Now they're trying to potentially pick up a set off of the team picked 1st in the Little East Conference preseason poll, UMass Boston, here at the Clark. Kianko, a short service. Managia looking to the middle. It's blocked, and it falls on the Beacon side. A huge swing from the Warriors, and they will take set 1 by the slimmest of margins. Take a commercial break, be back with the stats from set number 1, and then a look around the rest of Beaconville as all the other Beacons teams will be in action tomorrow, along with UMass Boston Volleyball, who has a non-conference match tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m.
Psychology is about understanding the individual and understanding the mind. The main reason why I want to combine psychology and business degrees is because I want to understand the business decisions that are made. I'm Nurçin Çelebi. I'm from Turkey originally. I'm a senior at the 5-year BA to MBA program at UMass Boston. I think in management, the biggest mistake you can make is to not listen. So I want to be able to step into a company and say, here's what you're doing now, and here's how you can improve it. I moved here when I was 16 for high school. Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me. I wanted to be able to improve myself. I wanted to be able to try new things, and I think UMass gave me a really good head start on that.
Let's take a look at a couple of replays. So we still have about a minute 20 before the start of set number 2. It all started off positive for UMass Boston. They took the first 3 points. They were really playing well. Here's the first point of the match. Eileen with a big kill. And it continued that way. Sarah Doyle on the connection from Elliott. This first time around, both setters were having little problems for the Beacons, and then the setter-hitter connection started to slow down. We see a nice kill, nice block from Elliott and Doyle. And then Ava Campano here, one of the few Beacons from the state of Connecticut, comes up with a nice kill. But then Eastern came up with a really nice block on Marcel Tiscareño. And while we won't see a lot of their highlights, comments picked up an ace here. They were the better team over the last 20, 25 points, and the Beacons just couldn't get out of their own way. A nice kill from Tiscareño late to force it. Beacons got as close as 24-23, but in the end fall 25-23 after one set. Really quickly, let's take a look around Beaconville. Busy day tomorrow for UMass Boston Athletics, the cross-country team. They'll stay local. They're at the Codfish Bowl. Men's soccer opens conference play after having the Little East Conference bye week 1. They'll travel to Western Connecticut State in a matchup of two of the teams picked first and second in the Little East Conference preseason poll. Women's tennis there at Plymouth State at 1 p.m. And the women's soccer team hosts Western Connecticut State, two-time defending champs in the Little East Conference. That game is at 4 p.m., and you can watch it here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Doesn't even include volleyball's non-conference match. They'll host Amherst College at 1 p.m. Taking a look at the stats as we get underway in set number 2. And service ace for Emelia. Beacons hit 114 in that set. Eastern was at just 059, but let's take a look at some of the errors. 6 service errors for the Beacons to 3 for Eastern Connecticut State. The Beacons also had 7 attack errors to 5 for Eastern, as they claim that one was blocked. Otherwise, it would have been too many touches. Swing from Stern, popped up by Tiscareño, and Campano will pop it over on 3. Far side, Stern gets another chance, and this time she's more successful. For the leaders for the two sides, Tiscareño had 4 kills, Czapeiwska 3. They combined for 7 of the Beacons, 11. On the other side, 2 kills apiece for Alitra Long and Abby Sturt. Comments looking for Czapeiwska, and again, just not on the same page there. Czapeiwska was looking to go outside, had to redirect her route, and couldn't get anything behind it. Campano hard into the block and down on the eastern side as the Beacons are on the board here in set 2. Eastern had 2 blocks, both coming on solo blocks from Jackie Orlowski. The Beacons with 1. Emelia popping it up for Stern off the block. Kayanko tried to get up, just couldn't quite get enough on it. And the lead is 3-1. We had 2 ties and 1 lead change. Beacons led early. Eastern took the lead and never gave it up, pushing their lead to as many as 5. Tiscareño through the block. Emelia is there. From the back line, it's Stern over the block, but Czapeiwska with the solid hands. And Comments was so tight to the net, she was forced to put it over, and an easy kill. The Eastern team is taking advantage of the Beacons' mistakes. 4-1 Eastern Connecticut State. Service is way too deep there from Stern, and she just looks confused, wondering why it went so deep. Stern had one of Eastern's 3 service errors in set 1. Beacons trailing by 2 early on. Handled and getting it right back is Long. Kiyanko can't handle, and the Beacons nearly made something out of that point. Diving efforts from Tiscareño and she, but couldn't get it over the net on 3 touches. The lead is 5 as we see Madison Bell step to the service line. Bell handled by Czapeiwska. Tiscareño with a ton of power behind that swing. Tiscareño has been one of the Beacons' best hitters as of late. Freshman who was the Offensive Player of the Year and District Hitter of the Year in high school. She has 65 kills, third on the Beacons, but over her last 3 matches, 31 total kills, hitting .403, had 11 kills each against Wellesley and Emmanuel in non-conference play. Big swing, almost an answer to the swing from Tiscareño, and the kill from Carly Balskis came in with 34 kills on the season. Eastern doubling up UMass Boston in set 2 and leading overall 1-0. It's the lefty, Leah Sopneski, one of the 2 setters. Elliott for Czapeiwska from behind 3-meter line. Forced over. That one's going to be a bit too strong. It was not only going out, it almost went too long as well. So the Beacons catch a break. Eileen, she a better service this time. Trying to get that one was Alitra Long, but she couldn't handle as Abby Stern just had that ball pop off her hands with a ton of velocity. Service ace for UMass Boston, just their third of the match. She again. Bell does a better job of handling it. Czapeiwska and two players converge, just able to get it over. Elliott over on two, but Bell was waiting for it. Czapeiwska to the near side, strong swing. She keeps it alive. Now it's Czapeiwska with the tip, but again, Eastern ready to some of these Beacons ploys. Kianko with a nice dig. Czapeiwska full swing is blocked right back. Birch, Elliott looking for Doyle, and that finds Pater in the back corner. The Beacons have fought back from an early 3-point deficit to tie the set at 6-all. Michael Holohan giving directions to Eileen Shee, the senior who's well on her way to becoming a rare member of the 1,000 club. 1,000 kills, 1,000 digs. One of the best players in program history. Kianko for Elliott. Doyle abuses the free ball, and the Beacons have taken the lead. Eastern a couple times over these last couple points have just been forced to put it over on three with the easy shot, and the Beacons finally taking advantage. Does appear as if there's a little bit of condensation pulling on the court, which is odd because in the middle of this week it was hot and muggy, and it's actually cooled down a little bit more like fall weather. She on the service again, somehow kept alive by Bell, but the free ball gives the Beacons a chance. Elliott for Czapeiwska, just a little bit behind her. It's Bell to the back line for Stern. Birch gets there. Elliott looking for Doyle, who had to redirect. And another nice play from Stern on the backside. Czapeiwska for Elliott. Once Doyle, and this time it'll end up with a Beacons point. A nice effort from Czapeiwska, but she redirected the ball into the Beacons bench. Eastern this time will be the team that uses the timeout early in the set. From up 6-3 to down 8-6, the Beacons with 5 points in a row here in set 2.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris. The subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
That was Sarah Doyle, who just put down one of the Beacons' many kills in this 5-0 run. Doyle, the junior out of Glendale, California, she's trying to make some program history of her own. As she currently sits with 74 career solo blocks, 9th in program history, 218 total blocks. She continues at her career pace. She should easily finish somewhere between 3rd and 5th all time. It's tough to finish first in any category here at UMass Boston after some of the players who have gone through these hallowed halls. You have Shannon Thompson, who set the program record for kills with 1,812. That is just an absurd number. When you think about it, it's close to 400. It's over 450 a season. Typically a good season for a player is anywhere between 200 and 300. Beacons also had Cassie Hanneman as one of the best setters in program history. Elizabeth Glavin as one of the best liberos. I mean, you're talking about 3 different players who all were multiple-time All-Americans. Christina Elliott can't handle that one, and Eastern out of the timeout has earned back-to-back points to tie the set 8-8. They still hold the match lead at 1-0. Elliott looking for Doyle, and she got so much elevation on that particular set. Those two have worked really well together, as we'll see Lexi Constas, the freshman DS out of Cincinnati, Ohio, come on for the service. Constas, this is just her second collegiate appearance. Played in one set against Castleton, picked up an ace and a dig, and the lefty will send it deep. Bell, the freshman libero, is there. Played deep. Birch, a diving effort, and neither Campano or she could get an angle at the ball. Tied at 9-9 now. Constance checks out. Kianko back on for UMass Boston. It'll be Carly Balskis to take this service. Balskis, 15 aces, tied for second on the team coming into the day. Just a bit too long there. That was pretty close to the back line, but the Beacons, along with the back judge, were all in confirmation that one was just a bit too strong. UMass Boston will bring in the starters in this 6-2 alignment. Carson Comments and Marcel Tiscareño. Comments on the service, just a bit too short. Catches the tape on her own side. And we have our third straight tie, 8-8, 9-9, 10-10. So already one more tie here in set 2 than we had in all of set 1 when we had 2 ties and 1 lead change. Eastern earning a 25-23 win. Comments for She from behind the 3-meter line, and she sends that one a mile long. Couldn't quite get it down in time. And Eastern, who led early, takes the lead back at 11-10. Comments looking for Czapeiwska through the block, but kept alive by Long. All the way across for Stern, but she was waiting for it. Czapeiwska looks deep and just a bit too strong. Beacons with back-to-back attack errors, and the lead is 2 for Eastern Connecticut State. Service is deep, but Czapeiwska plays it. I think it was going to stay in bounds one way or another. She flat-footed from deep in her own side. Big swing off the hands of Tiscareño, and it's a kill for Anna Barry, one freshman versus another. UMass Boston forced to use their first timeout. Both teams have used a timeout here in the first 23 points. Eastern 13-10 leading right now. The Warriors can keep this momentum. They could find themselves ahead 2-0 in what would be a shock start here in Boston.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
UMass Boston is the first team out on the courts after they took the timeout. Tiscareño, Campano, Czapeiwska, Comments, Kianko, and She. On the opposite side, it'll be Anna Barry, Abby Stern, Orlowski, Bell, Long, and the server and setter, Managia. Mackenzie's father is a coach in the New England area. Coached softball at Eastern and volleyball. Last season he was the head coach of volleyball at Nichols College. And this season he's back as an assistant coach at Trinity College in Connecticut. So it's been all over the place. (13-11) in favor of the visitors. Bell able to keep the service alive. 2 players collide. And that time it was Alitra Long and Jackie Orlowski colliding into each other and giving the Beacons the easy point. Czapeiwska, who service isn't that tricky. It's short with a little bit of spin, but it's causing problems for Eastern. Comets looking for She, punches it over and punches it back up after the block. Czapeiwska from behind the 3-meter line pops up off of Orlowski, who will get it back from Bell. Angled it towards the sideline. That was tough. Comments gets it, and that's not going to ever get over the net for the Beacons. (14-12) Eastern leads. They lead 1-0 in the match after holding on for a 25-23 win in set 1, in which the Beacons had the early lead. Eastern took a 5-point advantage, and the Beacons couldn't quite fight back. She through the block, off the body of Stern, and Stern's going to give the over, but it catches the scoreboard. And that's just bad luck for Eastern, as It's tough to put a volleyball through an object that's not moving and hasn't moved in years. More and more UMass Boston student athletes coming out to support the Beacons on a Friday night, trying to get their team back into this match. Michaela Kianko back to serve, the fifth-year senior out of Dunedin, Florida. Tried to get that one over, was long, but she was blocked. Now to the near side, down line, a strong swing from Barry. Beacons get it back. Doyle is blocked. This is one of the longer points, and a diving effort the second time from Managia that she's gone over on two and totally fooled the Beacons. Mackenzie coming into this one, she only had 5 kills on the season, so maybe the Beacons didn't have the scout on her as someone who looked to go over on two, but it's been wildly effective, and that's a big point right there. Point was extending. Felt like one of those big momentum points, and in the end, it goes to the Warriors to keep the lead. If the Beacons had won that one, we would have been tied 14 all. Bell on the service, flat-footed. Kianko couldn't put it where she wanted. Tiscareño's way deep. So important to get those strong service receptions, otherwise, entire offense gets thrown out of action, and the Beacons were forced to use their second timeout. Eastern tied for their largest lead of the set at 16-13, and we will take a break along with the teams. Eastern looks very dangerous here on a Friday night as they try to come into Beaconville and earn the first win for a road Little East Conference team since 2011 here in regular season play.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Out of the timeout, it's Tiscareño who sends it just wide, tried to go cross court and couldn't quite find the near line. It's a 4-point advantage, and Eastern, who was off to a tepid start, won 3, lost 3, bounced back between wins and losses over the last 4 matches. Very good tonight with a 17-13 lead. Comments across for She. Somehow Bell keeps it alive, and it comes across. Comments for Tiscareño. Can the Beacons take advantage of the free ball? It's Stern running forward, and it ends up bouncing off the hardwood and off the face there of Jillian Francis, the Beacons freshman DS. The lead is 5, as large as it's been in the set, as large as it's been in the match as well. Eastern led by 5, 21-16 in set 1. For the Beacons, were able to cut it to 1 late. Could be in for a similar situation. The Beacons have a chance. It's Tiscareño forced to hit that one flat-footed. Big block from Doyle and Tiscareño, the Beacons' best 2 blockers. And that gives the Beacons a side out with Birch and Elliott checking on for Tiscareño and Comets. Mike Houlihan pacing the sidelines, focusing on tempo and just being a little bit more aggressive right now for this Beacon side. Birch on the service, handled by Bell. She's been very good handling the Beacon serves. Ball skids across. No one's calling for it now. Elliott comes out of nowhere, blocked by the combo of Balskis and Orlowski. And Eastern says, anything you can do, I can do better. Beacon's got a big block, and now Eastern responds. Not the kind of start UMass Boston was hoping for. Eastern just 6 points away potentially from earning a 2-0 lead. Elliott for Doyle. Couldn't get that one over the net. Beacons love that play, but Doyle popped it right into the netting on her own side. It's a 6-point Warriors lead, their largest of the match. Sopneski finds Birch. Elliott sends it over, but not across, and it's a touchdown lead for the Warriors. And the Beacons will bring on Rachel Maslak, who they weren't sure if she'd be able to go because of an ankle that she injured right before an exhibition match against Suffolk, and then injured in practice on Monday. Maslak, who is amongst the team leaders in every statistical category a year ago, steps on for just the third time this season. Maslak looking for Czapeiwska, pops it over for Bell. Now it's Sopneski. Big swing, but it's blocked on the effort there by Czapeiwska, and another win for the Warriors. Maslak out there with Casey Shea, Beacon sophomore middle out of Canton, Massachusetts. It's an 8-point Warriors lead. Kianko for Maslak. Strong swing from Shea, but kept alive. To the far side. It was long there, but Czapeiwska was there. She creeping forward. Bullet off the hands of Madison Bell, and that cuts a long streak for the Warriors. Beacon still down by 7 here late in set 2. Eileen Shee's service, a good one. Handled there by Orlowski. Far side. Balskis' swing is kept alive. Maslak's there, but neither Beacon could get it. And UMass Boston can't get it across in 3. Looks more and more as if the Warriors are going to take a 2-0 lead. The question is, do the Beacons have a response in them? Long service. Kianko for Maslak. Finds Czapeiwska, and it falls. But at this point, the Beacons don't need 1 point. They need 4, 5, 6, even 7 in a row to give themselves a chance in set 2. And here the fans, they've been very supportive despite the Beacons' struggles. Doyle's service out wide. It's Stern, and Campano turned away from it thinking it was going long, and it bounces just in front of the line. Eastern has 8 chances now to close out the set, leading 24-16. Balskis, redshirt senior who is looking to beat UMass Boston for the second time in 4 years, and that could have been the set if not for the fact that Long elected to play that ball. It looked like it was going a bit long, and it ends up going off her right hand and out. 24-17, Maslak and Shea check out. Tiscareño and Comments are in for UMass Boston. Carson Comments, the sophomore out of Worthington, Ohio, with the service. And it's a strong swing from Czapeiwska, but kept alive. Comments for She, and she was being pulled away from the net. Pushes it into the net. Beacons lost 25-24 in the first set, 25-17 here in set 2. It's been a very impressive showing from Eastern Connecticut State as they lead 2-0 here over the preseason favorites in the Little East Conference. We'll take a commercial break, bring you the stats, the highlights, and a look ahead for UMass Boston Volleyball as they trail 2-0 through 2 sets.
UMass is very public service focused, and it piqued my interest, and I started doing more research on it. I'm very focused on what can I do to make the world around me a better place. My name is Lydia Grasso. I'm a junior at UMass Boston studying sociology and minoring in human rights. Because I won the Chancellor Scholarship at UMass, it allowed me to go to Cambodia. I was working at the Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope, I was in the place of something horrible that had happened. I could either go home and kind of forget about that experience and kind of block it out, or I could do something so that things like that never happened again. UMass provides me with opportunities that I wouldn't get anywhere else and gives me a global perspective in a public setting. I definitely transformed at UMass.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that second set. It all starts with a kill for Eastern Connecticut State, doing a nice job of going out wide. I think that was Balskis on that particular one. Now the Beacons able to retaliate. You saw Eastern get out to a 5-2 lead as that was Tiscareño. The Beacons came back. They scored 5 consecutive points, went from down 6-3 to up 8-3. You thought they had a chance, and then Eastern coming back as Doyle picked up a very nice kill on that particular opportunity. Got a few more kills for the Beacons as this was a stretch where they were going very well. One of the few during the last 40, 45 or so points. That gave UMass Boston the lead. And then this gave UMass Boston the lead once again. Doyle was going well early on in that set. But another block for UMass Boston. In the end, the Beacons hit 081 in that set. Eastern an impressive 303 clip. The Warriors to the match hitting 179. UMass Boston an 097. The Beacons have hit at least 145 in every match this year. Right now they're over 50 points shy of that. Looking at some of the other overall stats, the Beacons have one more kill than Eastern, but they also have 6 more attack errors. Beacons with 8 service errors versus 3 aces. Eastern with 5 service errors versus 4. Both teams with 3 blocks. For UMass Boston, Sarah Doyle and Marcel Tiscareño, the middles, each have 5 kills. On the other side, Abby Stern leads Eastern with 7 kills. As UMass Boston will make a change to their starting formation, their starting rotation, actually a change overall. Rachel Maslak will come on and be the setter to start this third set, and Sydney Birch will be the server. That's typically Carson Comets' spot, and Birch, who has been really good serving this year, picks up her first ace of the match. Came in as one of the top 3 servers in the entire conference with 32 aces. And for Sydney, that is her first ace versus 1 service error. Second one handled by Bell. Managia looking out wide. It's blocked but kept alive by Barry. To the near side, that's Balskis. Kianko plays the ball that might have been going long and ends up over her own bench. 1-1 early in set 3. The Warriors have been able to mount big runs in each of the first 2 sets after trailing to take each set 25-23 and 25-17. She somehow able to just slide that one across the top of the net and right in front of a Warrior on the back line. That was a really impressive kill on a difficult swing. Typically, Eileen is all about the power, but that time she just popped it across softly. She a really strong service. Again, just a bit too strong. Eileen's hit a couple of those today. That's her 4th service error. She has 4. The Beacons 9. All tied at 2, and it'll be Madison Bell, who has 1 service ace and no errors on 11 total swings. And that's a kill for Emelia Czapeiwska. Beacons will continue to mix and match lineups. Ariana Cassingle, the junior out of Melbourne, Florida, will come on in the middle for Michaela Kianko, and it'll be Sarah Doyle to serve. So the Beacons have a little bit more size out there. Cassingle, very good blocker. Doesn't quite have the same kind of hitting ability as Tiscareño and Doyle for the Beacons middles. It's Birch able to keep that alive and just in front of a diving Doyle. Extended her 6'2" frame, but couldn't quite get there. Kianko is on for Doyle, and Eastern will make a change as well. They'll make their 6-2 change with Sopneski replacing Managia. 3-all Early set 3. The Warriors looking to finish off the Beacons in 3 sets. She hard into the block that was waiting for it. Karen Czapeiwska teaming up with Carly Balskis. It was a really hard hit ball by She, but those two players waiting for it. Czapeiwska, one of the tallest players on the team. Balskis listed at 6 foot. Bell, a diving dig to keep it alive near side, and Kianko, an impressive dig. Maslak for She, who ran into Birch, and the Beacons not talking enough, leads to a Warriors lead. For the first 12 to 15 points, UMass Boston looked like the team that we saw early on in the season when they swept out a tournament in Ohio, finishing 4-0, defeated Maine Presque Isle easily, but Beacons just have not necessarily been that same side over the last 5 matches. Did not look confident against Bowdoin or Wellesley in a 3-1 and 3-2 loss. And even against Emmanuel, a team they would typically dominate, they dropped the first set. Comments comes on for UMass Boston. Her service, that's right in between Stern and Bell, and the Beacons get the service ace. A really difficult ball to handle. All even at 5s now. Comments, a floater that catches the shoulder of Alitra Long. Back-to-back aces for the sophomore setter. Comments again, goes short, and this is a dangerous swing. It doesn't end up in an ace, but it allows Marcel Tiscareño to put that one down, and that'll force a timeout. A rare one from Megan Silver-Drosch, looking for her 17th career LEC win. Beacons will meet on their side, Eastern on their side, and we'll get a timeout along with the teams as UMass Boston leads 7-5 early on in set 3.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
The two teams have reversed their tendencies. It's Eastern who calls the timeout. They come quickly out of their timeout. The Beacons taking every second of this one, down 2-0. Michael Houlihan, the Beacons' 6th-year head coach, going over some last-second tactics as the Beacons will send the same group out there. And Carson Comments, who's already picked up 2 aces during this stretch, 4 consecutive points for the Beacons, will head back to the service line. Carson now has 3 aces versus 1 error on the day. Comments his service, handled by Bell. To the backside, it's a strong swing from Long. She got it. And then David Wahlberg, over at the scorer's table, forced to make the catch on a ball that was coming right at his laptop. Wahlberg, of course, the UMass Boston Sports Information Director, and a former Eastern Connecticut State men's soccer player. So has a lot of connections to both of these schools. His casting goal wasn't ready for the service and pops it up. 7-0. Alitra Long looking to give her team their first lead in a bit. Finds Czapeiwska. Comments, rushes over, looks for Czapeiwska. The tip easily handled by the Warriors, and that's popped across by Long. Comments for Czapeiwska, able to extend her arms and comes up with the kill right in front of Madison Bell. Czapeiwska with the kill, and now we'll head back to the service line. Emelia in her 2nd year with the Beacons after spending her freshman season at Division I South Dakota State University, where she played in just 2 matches after being injured early on. Czapeiwska, another ace for the Beacons, who have 3 in the first 16 points of this, actually 4, because Birch had 1 as well. So 4 of their 9 points have come from the service line. Czapeiwska, though, gives it right back with a service error, something the Beacons have done a bit too much of today. Just 3 kills versus 8 service errors through the first 2 sets. They do have 4 aces in set 3. They've also given up a couple service errors. Balskis with a line drive service. Comments looking for Tiscareño. Handled by Long. Near side, the hard swing is kept alive by Kianko. Shia running play, and it catches the line. That was just desperation from Eileen, but it worked nonetheless. Eileen had 4 kills through the first 2 sets. Remember, coming into today's match, she was just 11 shy of tying Kate White for 3rd place in program history. The mark of 1,191 kills. Did that catch the block? It did not. A little bit of conversation between the up official, down official, and back judge. Went long either way, but Bob Benson and Kenneth Shirtloff confirmed that it did not catch any piece of an Eastern Connecticut State hand. Managia on the service. She is there, close to the net. Comments able to find Doyle. Managia just barely tall enough to keep it alive. Now the Beacons block it down on their own side. We're even at 10. The first 2 sets saw 6 combined ties and 3 lead changes. We've got a couple more ties here in the 3rd set, as that one will catch the line. Czapeiwska ducked down expecting it to go long, and it dipped right on the back line in front of the LEC marker in what would be the paint on the basketball court come November/December. Hard swing from Tiscareño, but a better dig from a Warrior. It's comments for Tiscareño a second time. Easier play for Managia. Coming across, working with it was Orlowski. Comments for Doyle off the block, but kept alive by Orlowski. Another swing. Stern catches the net, and it falls in front of the Beacons back 3. It's 12-10 in favor of the Warriors, and that's kind of how this match has gone. The Warriors have won the big points. Points that have extended. Their defense has been phenomenal. A little bit of a brief break with Comments taking a moment to tie her shoe. Managia looking long, finds Czapeiwska's hands. And that is easily the best kill of the Beacons match. Not only did Comments find She for an authoritative kill, but Doyle also went up on it. We'll show you the replay in a second. So the Warriors had to account for both hitters on the far side, and it's just too easy for the Beacons senior out of San Francisco, California. After a bit of mop-up duty on the eastern side, we'll bring you the service from Sydney Birch, but we'll have that swing for you heading into the next timeout. It's Birch on the service. Comes all the way across, and she makes it back-to-back kills. That was Abby Stern who couldn't quite handle it, and Stern will immediately try to mop it up. Something about the near side of the right side of the court that has caused all the mopping. We've seen players dive on both sides, but it's really only been the right side of the court that has caused a lot of attention after players have dived. Bell able to handle this one a little bit better, and putting it across is Long, and a perfect kill right down the line. 13-12 Eastern Connecticut State looking for the 3-0 sweep of the preseason favorites. Stern on the service. Maslak somehow avoids the net, and she has become red hot. 3 consecutive kills in the set. She only had 4 through the first 2 sets. Eileen will step back to the service line, and her service is handled there by Stern. Managia near side for Long. She has that one go off of her. Maslak puts it across, but not across the net. And the Beacons got a little bit of a break off the partition that comes down to separate the gym into 3 sections, but couldn't keep the ball alive. 14-13 in favor of Eastern. Bell on the service. She pops it up for Maslak, looking for Doyle, and it's through the block. 14-all. This has been the best the Beacons have looked since the first 12 to 15 points when they led comfortably in the first set. Doyle back to the service line. Sarah did not serve as a freshman. She's become a serviceable server with over 30 aces the past year plus. Maslach back for Birch, looking for who knows quite whom there as she pushed Maslach towards the net. I don't quite think Sydney hit that the way she wanted, and she's called for the lift either way. Eastern will make the switch in their 6-2. Sopneski comes on for Managia. And Leah, the left-handed server, will step to the line. Popped across by UMass Boston. Sopneski near side for Long. She was there in the back corner. Maslach for Czapeiwska, blocked down, and it will stay in bounds. The only problem with that set was it took so long to get there that even though Czapeiwska had space to wind up, Eastern got two bodies there and got the hands on the swing from Czapeiwska. Czapeiwska tips this one as the block was there again. Bell near side comes across. Maslach blocks it, comes across again. Can the Beacons do something with the over? Nope. Kianko forced, as that would have been touch number 3. Long goes deep. Kianko gets a hand on it, and the lead has stretched to 3. Eastern has had a run in them in all 3 sets. In fact, several in set 1 and 2, and their lead is 17-14. This is a familiar spot right now for UMass Boston, and it hasn't been kind to them. Right now, though, let's take a look at a positive note for UMass Boston. That really nice kill from Eileen Shee on the pass from Comments, and if you see it there, we'll play it one more time for you. Sarah Doyle is closer to the ball, and she is the one who looks like she might get a swing. As we'll try to pull that one up for you. We've got a little bit of time with the Beacons calling timeout. You see, Comments will come, and Doyle's the player closest. She appears as if she's swinging. The block goes up with Doyle. It allows she an easy swing with no one in front of her. And that, at that point, gave the Beacons a lead. But right now, Eastern leads 17-14, trying to sweep the Beacons here at home. The last time UMass Boston was swept at home in a regular season match by a conference opponent, you're probably going back to the very, very beginning of the Terry Condon era. 2007, maybe. The last home conference loss to a conference opponent was 2011. And that was a 3-2 loss to Plymouth State. UMass Boston coming into this season 66-5 against conference posts since 2008. As Maslach tries to go over, but just not enough on it. Seen Eastern setters a lot more successful when they try to go over on 2. Castigal can't handle the set from Maslach because it carried a little too far out. And the lead is 4. Do the Beacons have a big run in them? Haven't seen one late in a set yet. Czapeiwska for Maslach finding Shee, and Bell a diving effort. Sopneski near side. It's blocked, but down on the Beacons side, and another kill for Alitra Long. You can see it with each consecutive point, this Eastern team believing more and more. They're all up off the bench, all smiling, all screaming, and the Beacons use their second consecutive timeout. They're out of timeouts, down by 5, down 2 on the match. It's really do or die time right now for UMass Boston.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Beacons certainly in the danger zone right now. Eastern 6 points away from closing out the third set and a potential 3-0 victory. The Beacons have stumbled at points in conference play over the past couple seasons. Last year, after improving to 6-0 with a win over Eastern, a 3-0 victory, they fell 3-2 at Southern Maine. Back in 2015, the Beacons fell in their opener to Eastern Connecticut State at Eastern. Beacons lost in back-to-back years to Plymouth State in 2011 and 2012, but UMass Boston since 2008 has not lost more than one conference match. To lose their second match of the conference season and at home would make the rest of the road a little bit more challenging for UMass Boston if they want home court advantage the rest of the way. Comets handled by Bell to the near side. It's a strong swing from Balskis, though, and the Beacons get there. Czapeiwska line drive that's too strong. It was a really well-hit ball, but Madison Bell, diving effort, did not catch the hands. Michael Houlihan's having a small conversation with the down official, just asking about it, as Bell was very close. It's a big turn. It's the difference between a 20-15 mark and what would have been a 19-16 advantage, as they're going to make Alitra Long redo the service. The up official had never blown his whistle. Long, a sophomore out of Lincoln, Nebraska, takes her time, finds the hands of She. Comments for Tiscareño off the block. Bell got there but couldn't keep it up for her team. Deficit is 4. Czapeiwska, who's been one of the Beacons' better servers here, will step to the service line, and she catches the tape on her own side. UMass Boston's serve tough strategy, and they've been doing it for years. It works. It consistently works. But when they're making all of these other mistakes, it just compounds the deficit they've fallen into, as there's a service there on the other side from Carly Balskis. And the Beacons will send out Jillian Francis and Sarah Doyle, with Czapeiwska and Ariana Cassigal checking off. Mike Houlihan really mixing and matching here, as Czapeiwska typically is a player who plays all the way around. Kianko on the service, handled by Long, and now the Beacons catch Eastern in a little bit of miscommunication as Stern whistled there. Down to a 3-point deficit. It was 5. Kianko's service short, handled by Stern. Stern gets the set right back, blocked, but it ends up on the Eastern side and will come out of bounds. The referee finally blows the whistle. Everyone was celebrating. Carson comments, turning to her teammates saying, keep the focus. The whistle hasn't blown yet, and Eastern forced to use the timeout. The deficit is 2. The Beacons got to within 1 late in set 1 before falling 25-23. Can they get over the hump here in set 3? We'll find out after this stoppage. It's 21-19 Eastern, already leading 2-0 on the match.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there's a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, where it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes to choose.
Michaela Kianko will step up after the timeout and gets it over. That's sometimes the hardest part after a timeout, almost to ice the server. Doyle, flat-footed, punches it across. This is one of those long points that Eastern has consistently won, and they'll win another one. Abby Stern knocks it off the hands of Jill Francis. And Eastern will make a substitution. Managia and Orlowski, their starting pair in this 6-2, will check on with a 3-point lead, needing 3 points to earn the win. Managia on the service. Sends it to the back corner. Kianco for Comets, looking for Tiscareño. Kept alive by Long. Somehow Bell gets there, and Long will send the free ball across. Comets out wide for She, puts it down. Eileen has been the Beacon's best player in the set. And the deficit is 2 at 22-20. Speaking of new combinations, we'll see Christina Elliott check on and Rachel Maslach, a pair of senior setters, only Maslach can also hit. So Elliott on for the first time in the set and Maslach on for the first time to hit. See how this works. Two of the Beacon's most experienced players here in a big-time conference match. Elliott sends it off the hands of Long. Managia close to the net. It's never going to get over. And Elliott, who has consistently been one of the Beacon's best setters since she stepped onto the floor here at the Clark Gymnasium from Camas, Washington, comes up with the ace. The deficit is 1, 22-21. Elliott with the soft floating service. Bell for Managia. Right in the middle, tipped over. 4 Beacons converge. Elliott's going to have to set it back, and the Beacons get the free ball across. Now can they play defense? Out wide. Orlowski floats it long, and the match is tied. UMass Boston trailed by 5 here in set 3. Can they steal the set and get themselves back into the match? We're about to find out. 22-all. Elliott calmly steps to the line and sends it over. A line drive this time that skimmed the top of the net. Near side, Stern with a big swing, but Jill Francis was waiting for it. She soft swinging it, gets just down in front of Long. The Beacons have the lead, and the Beacons fans are loving it. First lead in a while. Members of the men's hockey, women's soccer team are out supporting their fellow Beacons. Lots of students living in the new dorms that just opened out as well. Coming from the back line and coming up with a big kill is Abby Stern. Who else? We're tied at 23. It's a race to 2, win by 2. And we'll see Stern head to the service line. Beacons getting their rotation in order. They've already been called for out of rotation on the service once. Kianco, a sliding reception. She comes across. It's blocked, kept alive by Bell off the net. Can they get it across? They do. It's deep, and Francis is there. Doyle setting She, and it's blocked out on the Beacon side, and it's match point. UMass Boston was so close to winning that point, and now they not only have to win the next one, but a couple more after that if they're going to extend this match. Match point for Eastern. They won the first set 25-23. They won the second set 25-17. They lead here 24-23 as the Beacons taking their time. Some shoe tying, and now Rachel Maslach will clean up a little bit of sweat on her side of the court. Abby Stern, the sophomore, who has 14 aces on the season, coming in, steps to the service line. Beacons fans making some noise, trying to get in her head. Kianco, the reception. Elliott for She from the back line, handled by Bell. Managia is there, looking for Stern, a chance to win it. Kept alive by Elliott. Maslach out wide for She, and Bell is there. What a great dig. From the back line, it's Stern, just over the net, kept alive. Maslach across for She. It's blocked, and is it down? And it's down inbounds. They're going to give Eastern the victory. That was as close as it gets. And in a thrilling Little East Conference match, it's Eastern winning 2 sets by 25-23 scores to earn a 3-0 sweep of UMass Boston here on a Friday night. It was close in 2 of the 3 sets, but the Beacons in the end fall to Eastern Connecticut State, their first home conference loss since October the 25th, 2011. The freshmen in this game weren't even in middle school, or maybe they were in 6th grade. Math is hard sometimes. We're going to take a break. We'll bring you the highlights in the 3rd set, the final statistics, an interview with Michael Houlihan, and then we'll wrap it up here from the Clark Athletic Center.
I'm Elizabeth Clavin, sophomore business management major from Edina, Minnesota. I love being a part of this volleyball team. Volleyball is what brought me to UMass Boston. I looked at our recruiting website one last time and saw UMass Boston on it, came out for a visit the next week, and it kind of hit all the boxes that I was looking for. In a good city, good academic school, good volleyball program, it had everything I wanted. Although it was far away from home, I knew this is where I wanted to be. Winning 6 back-to-back LEC titles is really a dynasty, I think, and Terry has really focused hard on recruiting and building this dynasty and continuing to build a program that can continue to win championships, and it's really lucky to be a part of something this great. Last year I was the Little East Conference Defensive Player of the Year, All-Conference second team, NCAA Regional MVP of the regional tournament, ABC All-Region Honorable Mention, and New England Women's Volleyball Association All-Rookie Team and Honorable Mention. I think my favorite game would have to be playing in the regional championship last year. We played against a really good Williams team, and I think that match, we started off a little shaky and lost the first set. We've lost in the whole playoff season, and I think that kind of showed.
By head coach Michael Holohan after the Beacons 3-0 loss to Eastern. Coach, it's the first loss here at home in conference play in a while. You've had the stumbles the last couple seasons, one out of every 2 or 3, but you've always bounced back. How does this potentially help your team in the long run to have fallen to a conference foe, knowing that it's not going to be an easy run?
I mean, it is what it is. That's the thing. I mean, we haven't had a loss here in a while, but you knew it was going to come eventually. EastConn's a good team. They're well coached. They were prepared for us. They knew what they had to do, and we just didn't play very well. And for us, I mean, they're just going to realize that we have to refocus and we have to move on from it. We had a match tomorrow, and then we just got to move on in conference. It's just one loss.
You mixed and matched your rotations a ton in that third set. Was there anything, I mean, that was a lot closer in the second. Was there anything you saw in that third set that maybe you can work on tomorrow or could really help you going forward?
I think it's just our execution, I think, and they knew it. When we executed, we did fine. It's when we let the momentum of the other team kind of dictate the rest of the match, that's when we started going down. And I think for us, it wasn't really about matchups, it was about getting different looks so that way people can try to get new openings, but it just didn't work.
Finally, it didn't lead to a win, but this was one of the biggest student crowds I've seen here at the Clark for a volleyball match in a while. How nice is that to see? And hopefully, if you can keep winning, how is that going to help you guys when you maybe get to the Little East Conference tournament?
Yeah, the support is incredible, and that's just the type of department we have now. And to see all the students out here rooting us on, staying throughout that entire match, even when we weren't playing well, is amazing. And my hat's off to them, and I hope they do continue to come. But I think the support that this program has from the entire department is incredible.
Thanks so much for your time, Coach. Good luck tomorrow. We'll head back up top, look at the highlights from the third set, and then wrap it up on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Take me out to the ball game, take me out to the crowd, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
The UMass Boston Beacons baseball team, who went 23-15 this year, and have consistently been a leader in their conference without having a home field to play on. That will change next season.
I am so happy and excited to join Boston College High School and your wonderful president to celebrate this symbol of our institution's friendship as well as our shared commitment to this special neighborhood. Not only are we thrilled to be building a new ballpark with our neighboring teams and for all of our neighboring teams, but we could not be happier to provide more space. It's not just for us, Father Monin. It's for the youth of Dorchester and South Boston to be able to play as well. So your field will be used by quite a few of us for so many wonderful things.
But my hope is that the sound of the bat, that's so irresistible to us at Fenway Park, will echo through this field and will call further together the academic communities of BC High and of UMB, but especially that it will call together the youthful neighborhood communities of boys and girls who are awaiting it so eagerly.
I can't wait to put those shovels in the ground. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carl Joseph. I'm currently a criminal justice major. I'm a senior. I am from Brockton, Massachusetts. In basketball, I play small forward / power forward, and in track, I'm a high jumper. Basketball has always been my first love. The favorite part was probably our win over MIT. Like that was tremendous. I almost came to tears just from where the program has come from where I first came here to where we are now, is just amazing, and I love it. Honestly, I was recruited for basketball. My high school coach actually emailed the track coach here, and she walked into the gym one day and it was just like, here, you, come talk to me. And I was on the track team. It really wasn't much of a choice. It was a great honor my freshman year, just being able to become an All-American, finishing 4th in my first ever national championship meet. It was quite the time of my life. My junior year, we received our LEC championship rings from our sophomore year. And coming in to my freshman year at UMass, I was able to witness the volleyball team win their championship and the soccer team, and the only thing that I really wanted was a ring of my own.
Here's Joseph knifing through.
Funny thing is, I actually work here as well. I am one of the Zamboni drivers to our men's and women's hockey teams, and that's what I do for part-time. Being a student here at campus, I can honestly tell you, is quite different from anywhere else you could possibly go. Just the student body here is amazing. I mean, the teachers are amazing. All the teachers that I've had never hesitated to help me out in any way that they could have, from extra help to me going into their offices just to talk about what's going on in the classes and to keep me on track. What I want to do when I graduate, I want to go into the police force for a little bit and ultimately end up either working for the Department of Homeland Security or the Department of ICE. It's definitely possible to be a two-sport athlete here at UMass Boston. It's just going to take a little bit of hard work.
What's really unique, I think, here is that we're really encouraged to not just do research, but to do research that really improves people's lives and solves problems.
Society has really never had to deal with a problem as complex as dealing with climate change before.
Climate Ready Boston is our data-driven approach to climate change and how we can make sure the city of Boston is prepared for the next 100 years. By leveraging the expertise of UMass Boston and Paul and Ellen, we've been able to take the very best science on sea level rise and translate that into a vulnerability assessment. Really what we've relied on them for is their technical expertise and really helping us understand what the science is saying to help us understand what we need to do next, both from a policy perspective, but then also in terms of projects and financing as well.
UMass Boston actually has a long history of working on environmental problems. One of the earliest programs was working in the cleanup of Boston Harbor in the 80s, and that was actually the genesis for the eventual School for the Environment. We started this program in green chemistry, and we're the first university to offer a PhD in that. And then also the School for the Environment is now working in Nantucket and Gloucester and other places around the world.
I was giving a talk a couple of falls ago for this group it was called the CEO Summit, and I showed this map of South Boston where all the businesses are being built, and there was a gasp, a literal gasp in the audience when they saw that map, and it's like, you could tell that suddenly they realized this wasn't something that is like down the road. This is something we have to deal with now.
Some of my work has actually been cited in a Supreme Court decision. I've met with congressional committees. I've given testimony to the Massachusetts Senate as well as the U.S. Senate on this issue.
We want to make sure that we are on that leading edge of the research, and we know that UMass Boston is committed to these issues and committed to being a good partner for the city.
Comments, a floater that catches the shoulder of Emelia Long. Looking long, finds Czapeiwska's hands. And that is, it's Birch on the service. Comes all the way across, and she makes it back-to-back kills. The service, she pops it up for Maslach, looking for Doyle, and it's through the block. Sobneski near side for Long. She was there in the back corner. Maslach for Czapeiwska, blocked down, and it will stay inbound. Strong swing from Balskis, though, and the Beacons get there. Czapeiwska, line drive that's too strong. And Long will send the free ball across. Comments out wide for puts it down. Eileen has been the Beaker side. Stern with a big swing, but Jill Francis was waiting for it. Soft swinging, it gets just down in front of Long. And welcome back to the Clark Athletic Center for the final time today. Quickly looking at the final scoreboard, 2 of the 3 sets were incredibly tight. Could have gone either way. both in the first and third set. UMass Boston came back from 5-point deficits to cut it to 1. In the end, the Beacons fall 25-23 in both sets, 25-17 in set number 2. Let's take a look at the team stats. In a lot of categories, they were pretty close, but the hitting percentage, a big difference. These stats are actually backwards, so everything you see under UMass Boston is Eastern's, but that's not our graphics operator's fault. That's my fault for reading it off to her wrong. So all credit to Kelly Danny. He did a great job of getting that in. And Eastern, of course, won 3-0. Eastern with slight leads in kills. The hitting percentage was, or UMass Boston had the edge in kills, but the hitting percentage was the big difference. 214 for Eastern versus 120 for UMass Boston. The Beacons a slight edge in digs. Eastern with the lead in blocks, and aces were pretty tight, but that hitting percentage, almost 100-point difference, easily a season low for UMass Boston at 120. Let's take a look at the team statistics. This time we were both on the same page. All of these will be correct. Eileen, she got the 11 kills she needed to tie Kate White. So 1,191 kills, tied for third all-time. Her overall hitting percentage, I think, actually ended up in the negative. So not Eileen's best match, but she certainly was one of the Beacons' better hitters, especially late. Sarah Doyle leads the Beacons with a 294 hitting percentage. Carson Commons with 16 assists as the Beacons used all 3 of their returning setters. They have 6 total on the roster. On the other side, Abby Stern had a really nice match with 11 kills. Alicia Long had a 318 hitting percentage, 15 assists from Mackenzie Menagia, 20 digs for Madison Bell, and Jackie Orlowski had a match high 4 blocks. Let's take a look ahead for UMass Boston before we close out. Beacons will be right back here tomorrow against a Amherst College team that was undefeated going into today's match. Beacons will then continue their homestand. They'll host Southern Maine on the 25th before that's Tuesday, and then host Simmons on Thursday. Finally, let's take a moment to thank our production crew who did a great job today. A couple of those people in new roles for the first time. My name is Seth Renski, your producer and play-by-play operator. Gigi Bragan, Kelly Danahy directing. Alyssa Fugel on Instant Replay. And Cassie Murphy, Sarah St. Cyrin, and Gianna Salemi were your camera operators. A great job by our all-female crew. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, the Beacons will be back in action right here tomorrow on the Beacons Broadcast Network and Little East Conference Network when they host Amherst College at 1 p.m. Pre-game, if everything works okay, we'll start around 12:45.